Voices from the Freeport.
Welcome back to the second season of Voices from the Freeport. My name is Bing. Last year when we launched this podcast, we dedicated a lot of time to looking back. At that point, we were recalling 15-5. 55 years since the enactment in 1969 of the law creating the very first free trade zone in the Philippines in Mariveles, Bataan. 15 years since the passing in 2009 of the law establishing the authority of the Freeport area of Bataan there and renaming that place as FAB. And 5 years since Republic Act 11453, which in 2019 amended the charter of the FAB, enabling it to welcome more industries and economic activities into the Freeport and allowing it to declare FAB expansion areas across the entire province of Bataan. This year in Season 2, we will be focusing more on looking forward. And we're beginning with an interview with Dante Bravo, President of FNI Global Ferronickel Holdings, which owns FAB locator MHC, Mariveles Harbor Corporation. In recent weeks, Global Ferronickel announced further investments in MHC and said that it was looking forward to improved contribution from port operations in Bataan to be among the main drivers of FNI's expected top-line growth. Mariveles Harbor Corporation also organized a discussion on containerized port development with the Authority of the Freeport area of Bataan, the Bureau of Customs, and the Association of International Shipping Lines. This episode will find out more about Mariveles Harbor Corporation and its plans at the Freeport area of Bataan. In this conversation with FNI President Dante Bravo.
What does MHC do?
MHC, or Mariveles Harbor Corporation, is our port and logistics arm of the FNI group. Now, our main purpose in investing in port and logistics because we are an exporter of oil. We also operate, ports. I mean, we have our own ports, and we also export it to our affiliate in China. We have a processing plant in China. And it also has its own port. So, it's just within our horizon, to think about logistics. We're partly doing logistics, transporting, or from the Philippines to China. And so we took a particular interest in ports, but in deep sea ports. Yeah. At the time when when we're looking at establishing a port or having to acquire a port, hindi yung sa ore namin, it's for our cement business. We're looking at the potential of the cement business at the time because in terms of per capita consumption in the Philippines, we're still way behind, say, Vietnam or other cement producing countries like Indonesia. Malayo pa tayo. So our focus then was when President Duterte launched the Build. At that time, we were really thinking of going into cement business, and we want to have a port.
Okay.
So that's the sort of motivation for us. When we started, scouting, we need pala yung malalim ang draft. And we went to different places around the country. It happened that only Bataan has that draft. And it was already established by the Atayde Group together with its partners, the Nectar Group. And, yung history naman ng FNI started with the Atayde. We acquired our mining interest from the Atayde Group. Yeah. So we always, we are always in contact and in communication, and we intimated our interest in port. So after many years of talking, when they were already operating, starting in 2016, there about 2017, opportunity came in 2019. So we acquired 40% interest first in that harbor, in that port. And at that time, along with the interest in cement, pumasok na rin yung steel. So sabi namin, lalo na complementary cement and steel. So, yan ang purpose namin. So, 40%. So, we're thinking of expanding. We started buying land nearby. What happened was, we were able to increase our interest from 40 to 88%. That's where we are now. So what MHE projects now, because it used to be a commercial but exclusive for wholesale. It was constructed as a port for wholesale cement business to facilitate the importation of cement materials, di ba? So ayaw na namin doon kasi wala na si wholesale sa amin. We want to move forward now as the majority. So what MHE is all about is capitalizing on the prospects of Bataan itself. Because, number one, talaga ito sa long history of being a processing zone, an export zone. Diba? I think it's the first.
It's the very first, yes.
The very first. Number two, you do not have any other Freeport zone that is covered by special law. So ngayon, meron kang deep sea port, it's a Freeport zone, you have a law there protecting that, supporting long-term investment, and then you have a very strong local government support. So we want to really support the locators. We want to expand our business owing to the prospects of Bataan as the premier investment destination. And the proof of the pudding is, is the start of the construction now of the, linking Bataan to
the BCIB, the Bataan Cavite Interlink
the Bataan Cavite Interchange. Alam mo naman yun yung export corridor natin that's nearest the Metro Manila. Diba? Of course, along with Laguna and Batangas and other neighboring areas. Pero itong dalawa talaga, very connected. Sa Cavite, wala ka na ng port na pareho nung sa Bataan. So it can support, of course, mostly for Bataan, but later when that bridge is already operating, it can support also Cavite locators. So tingnan namin, we're really sort of in a sweet spot, and we want to develop MHA. Even it's a bit small compared to other players, but right now I think 1,000 more or less TEUs ang export-import doon. And then if we're going to support, neighboring towns, probably another 1,000. And then if you have now, in the next 5 years, diba, more locators coming in because of EVs, because of semiconductors, because of other, locators. We think sa ngayon, because of the Create More, they will really find, a location that may easy access to international trade. Iyan lang talaga Batangas at Bataan, pero ang advantage ng Bataan yung mas malapit sa Metro Manila. So that's how we envision MHE to be from where it used to be.
What's the timeline for these things? So what are the improvements? What are the things that will be there in place for your prospective clients?
Yeah, I will be honest with you. We're new in this business. And so you're going to start from scratch now. Sabi ko nga, we were going to change it from a bulk cargo, more of. I'm not saying we're ditching entirely now the bulk cargo, business, but we're just trying to take a more attractive opportunity, which is containerized terminal, and so getting customers. To get to our port, yun ang sort of has a lot of berth planes, and we are there. Our current capacity without any other expansion is about 2,000 TEUs per month. So sa tingin namin, it can serve both the needs of the current locators as well as the neighboring because most of them galing naman sa SBMA, sa Subic Port. Pero kung mag-locate sila, di mas malapit. Diba? So that's our advantage. Hindi laban namin sila kasi hindi ba, sabi ko, we're new and we don't know them. So we're reaching out to them. Once they know us, and that if we can actually, cater to their needs. But of course, we need from support. We need support of customs kasi kailangan may facility doon eh. Kasi Pangandaman has been instrumental. It's been very helpful, to really attract investors, attract more businesses in the area, and particularly to the port because it's the gateway. And so this led to continuous discussions with BOC, and itong pag-invite na ng mga associations of yung international shipping lines and those in the container business was facilitated because of that, because of the push by Admin Pangandaman and the BOC. And so we're happy with that. We're very, very happy, appreciative of that. And so, pag nandyan na yung facilities na yun, and then tuloy-tuloy na yung ating container shipments dyan, both export and import, madali na ho ang mag-expand. Okay, so ang expansion namin will, doon sa yard namin, which from now we're carrying about 3 hectares, we can expand probably another 3 to 4 hectares. So yun yung magiging rianda namin to support about 2 to 7,000 TEUs. Diba? Eh mayroon pa kami doon yung dedicated namin sana sa steel plant. More than 30 hectares yun eh. Okay. So yan yung support namin facilities. Malapit lang, which is just about 3 kilometers away from the port. As you can see, this will support yung mga dry warehouse,
Yes.
di ba, for like food grain, di ba, and even cold storage kasi yan ang kulang natin eh.
Yun.
Yeah. So kung meron tayong cold storage, may itong dry tawag dito warehouse, which I think pwede namin gawin doon sa mas malaking area.
Yes,
And that can also be an additional buffer for our container yards, di ba? So sa amin, yan ang future na tinitingnan namin. Now, again, since we're new, and of course we're trying to learn this business well, we're thinking also partnering with somebody that has more experience para ma-accelerate ang development, and we can sort of join forces. Kasi medyo malaki ang kapal. Supposing we would expand our berth. Diba? So kung hindi mo pwede isa, kung sasabay-sabayin mo na. Para hindi So it could cost us about probably $100 million plus investment in equipment to another like $20 million. Diba? Pero kung hindi mo rin alam patakbuhin yun masyado, mahirap din. So kailangan yung may experiences, and we're looking for for that, and meron na kami kinakausap sa China. Kung halimbawa naman nandyan yung facility, probably the trade also will be coming from China. So as you know, yung importation naman natin mainly for Bataan galing naman sa China. Pagdating sa export, China is also one of the top 3 destinations.
Yes.
So sa akin malaki ang tawag dito, ang potential nun. The synergy between our partner from China and the emerging, the growing trade between our countries, sa tingin ko, hopefully through this port, yun ang direction na tinitingnan namin.
What are you targeting in terms of customers? Are there specific geographic areas or business sectors that you are looking at? Any specific industries? What is the immediate opportunity that you're looking at right now?
That's what we want to learn more. Diba? Kasi hindi pa kami basta sa ngayon, any locators which are semi-cons dito sa Bataan, siyempre yun ang gusto namin suportahan eh. Pero sabi ko nga, malawak you have a diverse range of prospective investors, di ba? So, sa Philippines naman, ang gusto natin, di ba, with the Create More, marami tayong gustong mangyari. But these are basically on, not just on semicon, on EVs, di ba, on emerging technologies like data centers. Bataan, you have power. Di ba?
Yes.
Mayroon ka mga kwada, pero nandyan, immediately available yung power. You have a very rich, yung LGU. na kung sa pagdating sa infrastructure kayang i-support, di ba?
Yes.
Everything from manpower development, all of that, di ba? So I think that's one thing that the investors would want to know, and would want to, how do you call this, to capitalize on. Kasi you will only be within the radar of foreign investors, even for locals, if you have that kind of support. Isa yung Bataan. You have power, you have very strong support on local government unit, you don't have to quarrel about, sabi mo, issues about ito share ng LGU kasi nandun na sa batas
Yes.
Fix na So, alam na kagad, hindi na kailangan ito magpasa pa ng ganitong regulatory fees para lang additional kita. Hindi na It's already a premier investment destination.
Moving forward now, as you embark on this on these activities and then try to prop up the business of Mariveles Harbor, what will its role be, and how important will it be in your overall business at FNI?
Well, foremost is our outside of our mining business and processing business. Ito yung part of our diversification effort. And so we're thinking that even if you have AI, even if you have other technological developments, dito sa service na ito, dito sa niche na ito, hindi ito mawawala
Yeah.
Di ba? So of course, along with mining, hindi mawawala kasi raw materials yan There's the raw materials for modern society. Di ba? So paano mo mawawalain yun? If you don't have, the other counterpart of food is minerals, is raw materials. Di ba? Yun lang naman yun There are only two things of, we're talking about agriculture, non-agriculture, and we are on the non-agriculture or mining side.
Yeah.
So, itong investment namin sa port and logistics at the beginning, of course, in the medium or over probably the next 10 years, hindi pa masyado siguro ang contribution compared to our core business. But beyond that, as sabi ko nga, pag dumami na ang yung locators, and we're looking now at probably 7,000 or even more because we can expand that in other areas within Bataan. Marami pa kami nakikitang areas doon. And sa tingin ko, malaki ang magiging potential. It can really create value for our business with with a larger share of our income stream pagdating sa port because hindi lang kami doon sa sabi ko nga doon sa pag-discharge lang or loading of cargos. We will expand our services to warehousing, to cold storage facilities, and even to other support services, and who knows, hauling and what other intermediate services we can provide to facilitate cargo movement.
You're going to be the new player in town. I mean, you've already clearly laid out the ambition. That's why you're also getting help overseas.
Yes.
For your business. What do you see? Is there a particular position or role that you see Mariveles Harbor Corporation play in the industry in the coming years?
We're looking at for us the MHC as an important diversification initiative of the FNA group, because to us it can open up a lot of opportunities, not just in Mariveles, but in other areas because we are an archipelago. But our prime experience, in Mariveles will help us go into that direction. But of course, being our first investment in the area, we'd like to fully develop first our capacity, our ability to market, our ability to capitalize on everything that we have there in Mariveles Harbor Corporation. And so in the medium term, meaning over the next 5 years, really like to have a more animated activity by first, with the help of Admin Pangandaman, the Bureau of Customs, and the local governments and other government agencies, particularly other investment promotion agencies. They have to look at Bataan as a premier investment destination, can invite locators there they can look at our ports, as the gateway to support their operations there. So yun ang gusto namin magawa. And we really gonna be improving our facilities there, even the support facilities we have on the 33-hectare property. And kailangan laid out na ngayon ang plan namin in terms of investments, in terms of exactly what we're going to do over our long-term development plan in the area. That's what we need to do. So having the right partner to help us plan all of this and help in the building up of capital and resources will help our long-term development goal for Mariveles Harbor Corporation.
Pretty much a mandate ng isang Freeport like ours is really,
Yes.
or a special economic zone is really to bring in the locators and of course bring in the jobs, the investments and the jobs. So in terms of jobs, what do you think it will mean?
In terms of jobs, sa ngayon kasi, di ba, siguro we're looking at probably for its current capacity about 100. Di ba? But when we expand, probably Freeport or even up to 500 employees.
Okay.
But as you know, in port business, it's all about efficiency.
Yes.
So you will have to use machine equipment, and which will need less people.
Yes.
But that's not the story there. The story there is who are we serving and how many employees they're going to employ.
Yeah.
Kasi dito lang mag-start sa amin eh. Because pag meron ka na ritong important, an indispensable, gateway to help support the operations, yun ang aming role doon eh, to generate indirect employment through the locators in Bataan.
Okay.
Yun po ang nakikita namin. And so, we don't know how much of that will be generated because of our presence supporting the locators in Bataan, in the neighboring towns.
I've been to the meeting with AISL, and I'm sure you've done your own face-to-face and more direct discussions with essentially the shipping lines.
Yes.
How have they been reacting to your plans? Are they already beginning to signify interest?
Absolutely. They're excited, to partner with us. Kaya lang kailangan yung facilities. Siyempre, when you talk about international trade, yung presence ng BOC, X-rays, and all other facilities that need to be placed there, kailangan nandun. Sa tingin namin, mapaplansya na yun eh. Malapit-lapit na yun eh. Now that, we're seeing. So, we're happy with this development because the discussions are ongoing, the collaboration with FAB, particularly with Admin Pangandaman and BOC and the LGU are there. So, tingnan namin talagang we're just excited and as well as them because that gives them sort of an option to really help locators.
When will the first fruits or the first ships, that is, of your investment land be present?
Ito na, we're very persistent with the FAB requirements. So lahat ng padating, dun lang kami magsisimula. And it will just, sort of roll on. It will just, sort of cascade to bigger volumes in the succeeding months. So ang importante sa amin, that number one, in terms of support for the current requirements, wala kami problema. We don't need any additional investment for that. I mean, or like, we don't need any additional like loans for that. We can support it, And so, ang sa amin sa ngayon is really mapping out our long-term development plan by looking for a partner and looking at the potential of the area. So yun ang tinatrabaho namin. Because pag nandyan yun, we can present more or less to everybody who wants to invest with that and say, okay, in the next 2-3 years, this is what we're going to do, and be prepared that we are really ready to serve them.
Any message to FAB, to the Freeport area of Bataan and its locators?
Yeah. So sa amin lamang, we're really thankful and we're extremely lucky that we have very supportive admin, the administration of Admin Hussein Pangandaman, of course the BOC, and most importantly the AGU headed by both Joel Garcia and Kong Abet, kasi sila naman ang nagsimula nito, and of course the municipality of Mariveles. We really hope that in the succeeding months we will see more traction in the business, in the container business, and hopefully with that marami na ang pupunta sa Bataan because mayroon na silang support facility na pwedeng asahan sa pagdala ng kanilang kargamento. So, sana tuloy-tuloy lang po, and kami po ay magpapatuloy po sa update namin tungkol sa effort namin dyan in really upgrading the facilities and making sure that this is aligned with both the short, medium, and long-term plan of the province of Bataan and also of FAB.
And that was our conversation with Dante Bravo, President of FNI, Global Ferro-Nickel Holdings, which owns FAB Locator, MHC, Mariveles Harbor Corporation. Tune in again next episode as we find out more about relevant developments here at the Freeport area of Bataan.
Voices from the Freeport.